What's up, fight fans? This is Kurt DeVille with Counterpunch Boxing News, and I have some new news concerning Oscar Delahoya, King Ryan Garcia, Javante Tank Davis. Get this. According to Delahoya on Tank Garcia, he said, "We bent over backwards. All we need is to sign on the dotted line." Oscar Delahoya is as giddy as anyone else in the boxing world to see Ryan Garcia and Javante Tank Davis trade punches next year. Lightweight stars Garcia and Davis both announced on their social media accounts this week that they would face each other next year in Las Vegas. The exact date and venue has not been determined, but the 12-round bout will take place at a contracted weight of 136 pounds. Negotiations between Garcia and Davis lasted for weeks due to complicated nature of the broadcasting rights. Garcia, whose promoter Golden Boy Delahoya Company had an exclusive deal with DAZN, while Davis, a client of Al Haymon's Premier Boxing Champions, is based by Showtime. In the end, a resolution was reached by all parties. As Boxing Scene reported, the fight will air on Showtime pay-per-view and use Showtime's broadcast and production teams, but will also be available to purchase on DAZN. But the fight is not technically a done deal. Delahoya and DAZN's executive vice president Joe Markowski both indicated publicly that contracts have yet to be swapped and signed. Moreover, Davis will have an interim bout before facing Garcia. Davis said on his social media that he will return to the ring on January 7th in Washington, D.C. against an unnamed opponent in what will be a Showtime pay-per-view event. In the first verbal remarks after the announcement was made, Delahoya took to Twitter to offer a few preliminary remarks. Delahoya said that his team had bent over backwards to make the fight with Showtime and PBC. Delahoya has frequently criticized Al Haymon for what is it called? Obstructionists as it relates to making fan-friendly fights. Delahoya, however, nixed what would have been an all-alluring fight between his charge, Jaime Munguia, and WBC middleweight Jamal Charlo, and Showtime televised fight early this year, but it did not involve DAZN's participation. He stated, "It's going to be one of the fights, or those fights you don't want to miss," Delahoya said in Instagram Live. "Super excited, man. Look, Golden Boy, myself, like literally, I want to bring the best fights to you. That's it. That's what we do best." Basically, Ryan wanted this fight. Tank wants this fight, so we've come to terms. Let me counterpunch. I see positive things happening, but then this is boxing, the sport that I love, that I hate so much. Okay, not sounding like a pessimist or anything like that. I know a lot of people, when I did announce that originally, people said, "Hey, I won't hold my breath. Hey, I'll wait till that time comes. Hey, I'll wait till they get in the ring." It was a lot of those remarks that I did read from that particular video. And based on what we read, they still haven't signed yet. Okay. And I think they haven't signed because of Javante Tank Davis's next fight with a no-named opponent. But I wouldn't be too worried about the unnamed opponent. And one thing I see that this pay-per-view, don't be surprised if this pay-per-view is a lot more expensive because they want to up the ante. See what Al Haymon wants to do. He wants to make one more fight with Javante Tank Davis on pay-per-view. So first of all, he can make a little money, and then he can make a little money. Because see, there's no guarantee what'll happen when he gets in there with Garcia. Okay, I haven't done the prediction yet. I will do it after January 7th. Okay, so stay tuned for that. But, as far as that goes, they want a tune-up fight, but they want to put the shit on pay-per-view. So basically, guys, when you hear anybody talk about pay-per-view and it's not a huge fight, And these smaller fights, Gervonta Tank Davis, tune up, no named opponent, guys that are fighting on pay-per-view these times and these days, and you wonder like, why is this on pay-per-view? That just lets you know that they're not trying to put up any guaranteed money for these particular fighters. You know, and I think at the end of the day, at the very least, people would, or these fighters should get tired of that same shit. When those checks roll out, and those checks are smaller than normal guaranteed fight purses. You know what I mean? When it gets to the point, it's just pathetic. Like, yo, what is this? This looks like an accountant YTD. You know what I mean? And like, what is this? I've been fighting, and I'm making money that I could be working as a plumber or a bricklayer or something like that. Not trading punches in the ring. But Delahoya, though, he still looks optimistic. I'm glad he didn't put his foot in his mouth. I'm glad he's wrong about Premier Boxing Champions. And I'm glad there was no deadline. Okay. And when you do have these type of mergers, the Zone and Showtime, it's going to be a big enough fight. But I think that the Showtime pay-per-view route, is by Al Haymon, and he wouldn't let anybody go. See, he doesn't necessarily have to work exclusively with Floyd, because Al Haymon does all the work anyway. Floyd, I think, he's the front man that says Al Haymon's name, and Al Haymon is the guy behind the scenes pulling the strings. Okay, bars. So I think with all this said, Delahoya does look like he is kind of relieved. But then again, let's hope Gervonta Tank Davis gets past this fight. But, I think they're pretty good at picking guys that he can fight, because they've been doing that shit for years. So Al Haymon, I think he knows what he's doing, and whoever they put in there won't be that big of a threat. Okay. But just giving you guys an update, according to Oscar De La Hoya, that the contracts have not been signed, the venue has not been chosen, and the date has not been chosen. Okay, so there's a lot of things that still hasn't done or haven't been finalized. Okay, but this, my friends, is the closest time that we were ever, or the closest point that we have to seeing Ryan Garcia take on Gervonta Tank Davis. But anyway, you guys tell me what you think about De La Hoya's update. Of course, please subscribe, and you guys been Counterpunch. Peace.